Well, good morning, everyone.
Spokane's mayor is no stranger to a little curbside campaigning, but this morning, David Condon and members of the city council were asking for your support of a community concept called Give Real Change.
And so we're asking citizens, rather than to give to panhandlers throughout the city, is to give to those organizations that have committed to really making a real change in people's lives.
I'm asking the motorists to consider how far they want their money to go. If you give $5 to somebody who has a cardboard sign, it's not going to go nearly as far as it will if you give that to a local charity.
Give Real Change is about connecting Spokane citizens who are homeless with the resources they need to end their traumatic experience of living in our parks and streets.
Spokane is a compassionate city, and we're full of compassionate people who want to make a difference. And so what we're trying to do is to help them give to those agencies that are making changes that put people into permanent housing and change their lives for the better.
And that's why last week the city installed these new signs in panhandling hotspots, urging people experiencing homelessness to call 211 for help.
We had a place, we had a job and everything, and he lost his job, and then we lost our place, and it's been one thing after another.
Like 80% of the people struggling with homelessness, Abby and her 4-year-old daughter used to live in one of our neighborhoods. Now she's waiting for more permanent housing.
I'm on 3 different waiting lists, and it's a matter of hit and miss on whether or not they have a way of getting a hold of us.
On Tuesday, a city employee referred Abby to Family Promise, a 24/7 shelter fully funded by the city. This year, the mayor and city council will spend $13 million to help people experiencing homelessness, support for low-income families, and housing.
So we fund everything from employment services, we fund outreach to help make a connection with those people who are experiencing homelessness and help them take advantage of the services that we're funding, like sheltering. We fund transitional housing for families.
The city is also paying the House of Charity more than $500,000 this year to keep its doors open 24/7, as well as a coordinated intake system that addresses individual needs and underlying challenges, including not being victimized by crime.
We know that there's criminal activity going on under the freeway, and we have vulnerable citizens and businesses that rely on us to keep them safe.
Those crime victims included the homeless themselves, students and staff at Lewis and Clark High School, and some of Jim Rudman's auto repair customers.
Our cars in our lots have been broken into. We've had windows broke. We've had customers harassed. Garbage every morning is everywhere.
And that's when the city set its sights on driving away the criminal element by robbing them of a comfortable place to wait for their victims. There were also safety concerns about overgrown brush.
The city started on this path to improve public safety under the freeway last year. And that meant we were going to improve lighting, we're going to provide fencing and better signage, and eliminate the shrubbery and put in rock in place of shrubbery. This is all done as part of environmental design.
The city has made similar environmental changes to help reduce crime in our parks and other public spaces so that public property remains safe for all of the public to use. When the city realized property under the freeway had become a haven for dangerous, illegal behavior, they cleared away the brush and in its place installed a layer of rock. That's to improve the safety of the area for everyone who uses it, including those who experience homelessness. Installing that rock was the last move in a series of improvements designed to reduce crime under Interstate 90. The boulders did displace some people experiencing homelessness, and the hope is those folks will take advantage of safer, healthier housing options provided through the city's emergency shelters and housing system. And weeks before the rock arrived, outreach teams hired by the city offered people taking shelter under I-90 a chance to transition from life on the street. Some of them welcomed the opportunity, others did not. Because of the basalt, the city will now spend less money removing 800 pounds of garbage and litter generated by the campers every day. Connecting people with services and housing is the overall goal. That's why outreach teams check in with homeless individuals and families daily and encourage campers to use shelters where they can be connected with the life-changing services they need in a safer, more appropriate living environment. They also offer resources hooking up people with employment, healthcare, and guidance navigating complex systems. The services are made available through individual agencies and collectively through community court, regardless of their involvement in the criminal justice system. It's a comprehensive network built around the needs of individuals who are in crisis, people who deserve the help of their community.
People need to feel comfortable to fail, to try new things, and to be open to the services when they're available to them. And so sometimes that's the first try, sometimes that's the 100th try, but we always want to be able to be there to help people in need.
Tisha Danzig helped organize this summer's 100 Youth 100 Days Challenge. The city and its partners met their ambitious goal, finding housing for 109 young people experiencing homelessness.
We looked at it as a stepping stone to a higher goal of providing a system where our youth could feel safe and supported when they needed help most.
And now, as the summer draws to a close, Spokane is urging motorists not to hand over their spare change to individuals, but rather donate whatever you can afford to the agencies that work to end homelessness.
People in their desire to be compassionate and give to those who are suffering can sometimes fuel habits that don't help that individual. And so this is an option for people to give to agencies that they can be sure are going to spend those dollars to help people make positive changes.
And that's why you'll find these former parking meters going up around town as an easy way for you to help the less fortunate find a better way of life, help them and our city move forward, and give real change.
Because of Shriners Hospitals for Children, I can play basketball. I could climb stairs. I can write my name.
At Shriners Hospitals for Children, love is caring for a child, regardless of the family's ability to pay. If you know a child we can help, visit shrinershospitalsforchildren.org.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is possible with the support of my community. Join the Voices for Recovery. Visible, vocal, valuable.
For confidential information on mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Jeff Corwin. Founded in 1877, American Humane is dedicated to the idea that all animals are entitled to humane treatment. Today, endangered species are experiencing a better quality of life because of the ethical, science-based standards established by American Humane. Teach your kids the importance of wildlife conservation by visiting humane-certified zoos and aquariums. To learn more, visit AmericanHumane.org.
We are there, day one, with baby names and a gift that lasts a lifetime. We are there as you grow, protecting you and those you love. And we are there as you start your next chapter. We are with you through life's journey. We are Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. Get to know us at socialsecurity.gov.
This video produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Every year, code enforcement, police, fire, health, and other government workers deal with a large number of problems stemming from foreclosed and abandoned homes. Problems such as crime, unkept yards, vandalism, trash, and dumping. And that's just to list a few. These government officials spend a lot of time struggling to find a responsible party to take action on these problems. They research mortgages on the property, call bank 1-800 numbers, and get passed around from bank to bank and from department to department. Meanwhile, citizens rightfully complain. Neighboring home values go down, and elected officials search for an answer. And unfortunately, nationwide mortgage foreclosure rates do not seem to be falling by much. In fact, in many states, foreclosures are on the rise. But there is a property registration solution that provides real relief. Introducing ProChamps, a community champions property registration solution. It's being used in over 130 communities nationwide. And here's how it works. First, your municipality passes an ordinance which requires that foreclosing banks must register the properties upon notice of default on a property and provide information including names and contact info of the bank, servicers, property contact, and others, as well as pay a small registration fee. Sound difficult? ProChamps provides everything needed for this registration system. We do the research to identify these properties, contact the banks, and provide an interactive website where your staff can report problems as they arise directly to the responsible parties. But we aren't done yet. ProChamps has a team of community specialists who have your back. When you have a problem or report a code violation on a registered property, they act as your ambassador to the banks and contact the responsible parties to help ensure the problems get fixed. This program does not change how you normally enforce codes in your community, nor does it create an additional work for staff. We simply add the ProChamps team to partner with and empower you to take care of these problem properties. How much does this service cost? Well, ProChamps shares in those bank registration fees, with the majority of the money going straight back into your community and helping to recover the costs you are already spending on dealing with these properties. This means the program provides revenue for your community with zero out-of-pocket costs. So what are you waiting for? Head to our website, give us a call, schedule a free foreclosure assessment or online demo, and join the 130 plus communities who have already experienced the benefits of partnering with community champions and leveraging our ProChamps solution. Go to ProChamps.com or call us at 1-800-321-CODE and get started today.
The City of Spokane wants to make it easier for developers to restore vacant or deteriorating buildings in our neighborhoods. The new change in the city's development code applies to existing commercial structures and opens up several development opportunities. For example, this vacant building on Newark Avenue in East Central Spokane could soon be a new bakery.
Using that space more effectively for the, creating a neighborhood draw, creating jobs right there on the site, and making bread for the neighborhood.
The code change also allows former commercial property to be converted into a small multifamily building or be used for an office or mixed-use building. That same property can now also be renovated to create a new small business that might provide nearby residents with a shop or restaurant they can walk to.
Then you will see some more interest in adjacent properties, more interest in that site, and possibly more improvements going in to support that business and attract more neighborhood customers.
A pilot project in West Central Spokane showed the value of allowing changes in the way these older buildings are utilized so they can enjoy new vitality in today's residential neighborhoods. The owner of a tree trimming firm now wants to take a boarded-up service station on West Broadway and turn it into his new company headquarters. Many of these properties are located at street corners and can be high-profile locations to serve the community. City officials support the code change because it also helps prevent deterioration of structures as they continue to age. Up until now, community members reported that development restrictions on these former commercial properties created barriers to investment and restoration of these buildings. To improve the fit between commercial uses and the residential neighborhood, several features in the code are meant to maintain a relatively low commercial activity level. The types of new uses allowed include financial and medical offices. Retail sales and service uses are also permitted, such as stores, restaurants, or bike repair shops. For more information about how these changes would allow development of a former commercial property in your neighborhood, contact the City of Spokane Development Services Center.
So this is the Water Willie. The Willing Water is his actual name. He was the the trademark for American Water Works Association back in the 1940s. He used to be in a water fountain up on top of the 9th and Pine water tank. It was built in the 1960s. He sat up there in the fountain for 50 years. The fountain finally degraded to the point we had to remove it from the tank. And when we brought him down, we have an amazing group of fabricators here that were very skilled in building race cars and building trailers. They build trucks for us, and they had the expertise to put into this thing and end up with the statue that we have now. He's located at the Water Department yard. That's the corner of Foothills in Nevada.
Some good police work getting recognized over some good food as Spokane's YWCA hosted its 4th annual Law Enforcement Appreciation Breakfast. 16 sheriff's deputies and police officers were saluted for their role in stopping the cycle of domestic violence. 1 out of every 4 women will be the victims of domestic violence in their lifetimes, and that grim statistic is what led to the creation of the Spokane Regional Domestic Violence Team. Detectives, prosecutors, and victim advocates all work under the same roof at the Wise Family Justice Center here on North Monroe. Their goal is to make sure that DV suspects obey protection orders. They also support victims and deliver compelling evidence when assault, harassment, or stalking cases go to trial. One of the officers to pick up an award from the team is a young patrolman who works for the Airway Heights Police Department. Officer Erica Rose responded to a domestic violence call and not only removed the victim from a dangerous situation, but went many extra miles enforcing the no contact order and making sure the victim felt confident and safe enough to testify against her abuser in court.
Officer Rose would show up to court to support this person, walk them to their car, and be a safe person to talk to. I was very impressed with Officer Rose's actions that went further than expected, and interactions like this restore hope for victims of crime that they are taken seriously and helps build trust and rapport between victims and law enforcement.
More than a dozen other Spokane police officers and sheriff's deputies were recognized by the YWCA's Alternatives to Domestic Violence team. You should know that October is Domestic Violence Action Month, and you'll be hearing more about a campaign that asks you to end the silence.
David 855, I'm coming in the area.
It's the police department's #1 call for service, the #1 reason for SWAT standoffs. And it's the driving force behind more than half of our murders. And officers like Erica Rose and Aaron Johnson respond to domestic violence calls every day.
I want to go top of the stairs to the left so we can just head up and go that way.
Okay.
On you.
They're almost always in progress type of calls. Emotions are running high. It's people that are related for the most part or live together.
Detectives who work for Spokane's Regional Domestic Violence Unit warn, without intervention, abusive relationships are slow-moving homicides, and the only way to avoid that deadly steamroller is to pull victims out of the way.
And you see women and children and sometimes men in a situation where, you know, a loved one that's supposed to protect them and supposed to take care of them has hurt them, and, you know, it pulls at your heartstrings and makes you feel bad for them.
Officer Rose was recently recognized for responding to a domestic violence call and not only removing the victim from a dangerous situation, but going many extra miles, enforcing the no contact order, and making sure the victim felt confident and safe enough to testify against her abuser.
Sometimes they just want to talk about it. Sometimes they just want somebody to listen to them, and so, you know, sometimes you'll sit down on the couch with them and just let them talk to you and let them tell you what they're going through because they want to be heard, they want to be understood.
October is Domestic Violence Action Month. The YWCA and its partners urging the Spokane community to end the silence about domestic violence. Officers Johnson and Rose know 1 out of every 4 women will be the victim of domestic violence, and they've decided to call attention to that problem by dyeing their hair purple.
Purple symbolizes courage and emotional strength and healing, as we like to see with domestic violence victims that are able to recover from their wounds.
And so here inside the Vivid Hair Studio, the officers went with matching shades of violet. The sergeant in charge of the Spokane Police Department's domestic violence unit showed up to show his support for the head-turning tactic.
There are so many victims of domestic violence that we never hear about or never hear from because they're ashamed, they're embarrassed, there's all sorts of reasons. So the more that we can get people comfortable in talking about it and getting the word out, the more we can put a stop to it.
The YWCA wants your help to end the silence about domestic violence. And now these officers' temporary hairdos are sure to speak volumes while they're out on patrol again.
I think it's going to be interesting. It's certainly going to be fun. I think a lot of people are going to ask, why our hair is purple, and it will open the door for communication with the public about how passionate we are about seeing domestic violence end in our community.
Spokane Insight. If you'd like more information on the City of Spokane, please check us out on social media or on our website, SpokaneCity.org.